What is up, everyone? JGait here, and I am back for another episode of JGait Sports Talk. It is officially 2017. This will be the first episode of JGait Sports Talk this year. Not going to keep you too long today, so let's get into the topics that we're going to discuss. First off, last night was the College Football National Championship, which saw the Clemson Tigers take down the number one ranked team in the country, the Alabama Crimson Tide. My God, what an epic game. Clemson won 35-31, and that featured great performance from quarterback Deshaun Watson. Awesome game overall. Tar Heels, Crimson Tide, actually, sorry about that. Get a little confused there. Crimson Tide going into this game as the favorite, as they had won last year's national championship against the Tigers. Now, Clemson was looking for revenge all along. They were seeking their first playoff championship win since 1981. And a lot of people didn't really see it that way. Because, Alabama won last year. They're going to do it again this year. Go back to back. But boy, were those critics wrong. Crimson Tide went way down. Now I got to give congrats to Nick Saban on such a great season. But Clemson came out strong. The thing that did it was that pass to Hunter Renfrow with 1 second remaining in the fourth quarter. That did it. Such an unbelievable play. I congratulate the Clemson Tigers for all that they accomplished this season. And Deshaun Watson, he's entering the NFL draft. Let's hope he gets picked by a good team. Hopefully not the Cleveland Browns. And I'm going to say that honestly. Okay, moving on. We're sliding on over to the NBA. We're going to be talking about the New York Knicks, who lost last night to the New Orleans Pelicans, 110-196. Anthony Davis, of course, there's no stopping that dude. 40 points, 18 rebounds. A lot of controversy in that game. Carmelo ejected in the third quarter. 2 minutes later, Kyle O'Quinn ejected. Just really a hard game for the Knicks and the fans. But the big talk of that night was the fact that Derrick Rose was not heard from. He didn't show up for practice, didn't show up for the game, and nobody from the team knew where the hell he was. Well, as it turns out, Rose flew back to his hometown of Chicago for a family situation. Now, I'm hoping that it wasn't as serious as everyone is making it out to be, but let's just be happy that Rose is back. That's it's a big sign of relief, I'll tell you that right now. Okay, moving on. We're going to be talking about the Thunder Bulls game last night. Thunder won 109-94. Russell Westbrook doing his thing. 21 points, 14 assists, 9 rebounds, one rebound shy of doing another triple-double. But it's just the way it is. I think I've said earlier before in these videos, Russell Westbrook has really stepped up his game, has really taken on as leader of the Oklahoma City Thunder franchise. I give him a lot of credit. For the Bulls, Dwayne Wade, 22 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. Jimmy Butler did awful. 1 point, 7 assists, 2 rebounds. What the hell is that? I don't know. Alright, now we're going to be moving on over to the NFL. NFL playoffs is in full swing. Wild card games this previous weekend. First game we're going to talk about was the Raiders and the Texans. Texans won 27-14. But it wasn't all the Raiders' fault. Because, as you know, Derek Carr's season ended because of a broken leg. And you had Connor Cook, who was starting his first game as a starter in the NFL in that particular game. But don't worry, Colts fans. Raiders fans. Don't worry, Raiders fans. Before I continue, I gotta apologize for the slip-ups. Like, I apologize from the bottom of my heart. Forgive me on that. Anyways, don't worry, Raiders fans. Derek Carr will be back stronger next year. I guarantee it. Okay, moving on. Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Miami Dolphins 30-12. You had big plays from Antonio Brown. 2 touchdown throws from Ben Roethlisberger. 50 yards, then 62 yards. Le'Veon Bell also had 2 touchdowns, a 1-yard rush in the second quarter, and an 8-yarder in the third quarter. Big Ben had a pretty good performance, 13 for 18, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns, although he threw 2 interceptions. Next game is Packers and Giants. That was a disastrous game. Packers won 38-13, and that showed once and for all that Aaron Rodgers was the man. Rodgers, 25 for 40, 362 yards, 4 touchdowns. Can't go wrong there. Now the Giants, they missed a lot of opportunities where they could have scored in the beginning. First half, Odell Beckham Jr. dropped that pass from Eli. It was really hard to watch. And I'm not surprised that after the game, he punched the wall and smashed his head in. And apparently the team trashed their plane. Because maybe it finally got through their heads. I mean, maybe before the wildcard game, they shouldn't have been in Miami partying on the yacht with Justin Bieber. That's all I'm saying for that. And as many of you know, the Seahawks beat the Lions 26-6. I give praise to Russell Wilson on another great year. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, last topic is not something that's related currently in the sports world, but just a little something I'd like to show. From the time that between my last JGait Sports Talk episode and this one right now, I have been reading Friday Night Lights. It is a great book. For those of you who don't know, it tells the story of the Permian High School football team, the Panthers of Odessa, Texas, during the 1988 season and their run to the state championship. Now, if some of you don't know, high school football in Texas is like God. And Football is God in Texas. And if you saw the movie, then you'll want to read this book because you learn a lot from it. Like the coach, the players, the town, the whole season, what it was like. I highly recommend it. Okay, and that concludes this episode of JGait Sports Talk. I will be back next week with a new episode. Until then, peace out, y'all, and good night, sports fans.